The Frostfire Valley wakes to tragedy. Bells toll, announcing the Queen's death, and while there must be a time to mourn, the people of the valley know a new queen must rise. Throughout the Frostfire, women and girls wear masks of sadness, but inside they dream of power, a rise to royalty. But what will the task be this time? What must they do to be dubbed Queen? Many women have spent their entire lives training for this moment. Pushed by eager parents or power-hungry families, others are driven by desperation, willing to do anything to claw their way out of poverty and hardship. The Queen rules from the tower, and the King rules from the mountain. Only the deserving may reign, but what does it mean to be deserving? Welcome to episode 36 of The Hills Have Nerds, the only podcast bold enough to interview an author without reading the book first. I'm one of your hosts, Josh, and with me is Aaron.
Hey, it's me.
And we got a special guest tonight, Amazon best-selling author and local nerd, Ken Harris. Ken, how's it going, buddy?
Going well. Thanks so much for having me, guys.
It's great. I've been trying to get you on the podcast for, I don't know, Aaron, when did we do our first Halloween episode?
Jeez.
That was 2 years ago. When
I fumbled talking about Kenny's first book.
Yeah. So that was when Aaron brought up the first book you wrote, the Perfect Tree. Is that right?
Yeah. I was both touched and horrifically insulted at the same time. So,
and I mentioned
that's how you should feel.
Yeah, most of us feel that. Honestly, okay, job well done. I think that's kind of what we're going for. That's just the general vibes of the podcast, man. And yet we're still here.
Yeah, and I'm still here.
Yeah, but we finally got you on. And why are you here? Why do we have you on now? What did our listeners just hear me read a synopsis of?
Yeah, you read the synopsis of my upcoming novella, Queen of the Frostfire, which is coming out at the end of February 27th.
Awesome, and it's cool. I mean, that's neat. Queen of the Frostfire is a badass fantasy name. I love it.
I can get behind that statement. Yeah,
that is really cool. I dig it a lot. And we'll talk more about that. But first off, So Ken, I'm going to try not to call you Kenny. You're writing under the name Ken Harris. That is your name. That is your authorship name. I'm going to end up slipping and calling you Kenny. We know Kenny. We play Marvel Champions with Kenny at the gaming company, or with Ken at the gaming company. We play games together. Local nerd. So Ken, tell us about yourself. What is your elevator pitch? Who are you?
Who am I?
Yeah.
Great question. I mean, nerd is a great starting point. That's the foundation of anybody who writes fantasy, I believe. Mm-hmm. To answer the question more fully, I'm a guy who mastered in English and has always wanted to write books ever since I've been able to read books. And I finally got the opportunity to do so. It's not my full-time job, but it's certainly a passion project on the side. And I'm always writing something, and I've written far more than I've published at this time. But I think everybody has, right? You don't publish everything because a lot of it's crap, but we publish the gems.
Now some people publish the crap, so I mean
that's fair too.
It's not. I mean, I've definitely read my fair share of crap.
What am I saying? Me too. Yeah, I strive to publish the gems. I'm sure there are people out there that are like, "What are you talking about? You publish crap too, Ken."
Well, we mentioned it before. You have published gems. You are an Amazon best-selling author, right?
Yeah. Took my first book 10 years to get there. Had a huge surge of popularity during COVID, during 2020, and I was very thankful for that. I did a fair bit of promoting because there was nothing else to do. Work during the day and promote my book at night. The rights had completely reverted to me at that point, so I I didn't have to pay any kind of like, I paid Amazon for hosting and that was it. So.
And
Nice.
that was the perfect tree.
Yes, that's correct. Perfect tree. I have a copy of it here that I would like to. It's backwards because my camera's inverted, but
Oh, it looks good.
that's what it looks like.
Okay, and you wrote. So, how many books have you wrote in total? So you're on here to schlep your newest book, the Queen of the Frostfire. But how many books have you wrote in total? So, Queen of the Frostfire, Perfect Tree.
So the books that I've written that's a large number. They're stacked in my closet. The ones that I've published are The Perfect Tree, Any Flavored Jelly Beans But Black. It's actually about jelly beans and the fear of death. A lot of people think it's about race, but it is not.
We gotta be careful with our accents.
I agree with that. I've published Queen of the Frostfire is coming up, and then I've written one more that I haven't told anybody about yet outside of my family and maybe a few very close friends. That's coming out next year, end of next year. And it is like, it's the book that I'm most proud of, the one that I have hesitated to publish under just any publishing company. I've really shopped it around. So hopefully we can talk a little bit about that one at the end, but that's not the priority.
Okay.
That one is my absolute passion project. Like that one, I mean, it took 4 years to write. I've had it professionally edited with 2 different editors. I'm getting a oil painting cover done for it. Like I'm stoked for this book. I mean, I'm giving it the white glove treatment because it absolutely deserves it, in my opinion.
That's incredible. Yeah, we're excited. We're excited. We'll talk a little bit about that in the later bits of the episode. So stick around, nerds. You want to hear about Ken's magnum opus that's coming out. That sounds exciting. But let's talk about Queen of the Frostfire, just a little bit. And so is all your stuff fantasy? This is obviously a fantasy book, right? Or at least I look at it. I read that synopsis out. They heard me read that synopsis. That is fantasy. Frostfire that is a fantasy name, right?
It's actually a place over in Marbone. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Kidding.
Well, Marrowbone, no. Wolf Pit. What we got? Wolf Pit, Marrowbone, Monkeytown Road, Big Bone Lick. I mean, you could, dude. Yeah. It's a well worth dripping from. Elkhorn.
Yes, it is very fantasy. It's a fantasy book. It's got magic and dragons, and I mean, like in the synopsis, you heard the queen rules from the tower, the king rules from the mountain. The king is a dragon, and he's immortal. He's like a god. That's no spoiler. That's it's on the cover of the book. So, lots of nerdy things to be found, throughout the book. But I love very dragon. Much fantasy. But I've not always written fantasy. Like my first 2 books, Perfect Tree and Jelly Beans, were both like, I would say like almost like YA lit fic, stuff that literary fiction, aiming to be more highbrow and say something about the human condition, explore why people do the things they do, and try to offer answers or offer in different interpretations that people can come up with it. They're more like attempting to be clever than they are to entertain, I guess you would say. I've had Perfect Tree compared to Bridge to Terabithia, which I love that book. So because the protagonists are both kids, and it's all about kids like dealing with. They start out being afraid of like ghosts and things of that nature, but they end up being afraid of the real things in the world because they experience them firsthand, the real evils, if you will.
It's all allegories.
Some. It's
all filled with allegories and analogies, metaphors, and all that good stuff. I like a good
metaphor.
Yeah, who doesn't like a good metaphor? So why the swap? Why do fantasy now? When obviously you were successful with the YA lit fic.
Well, I'm getting older, and fantasy's always been where my heart was. These books were written out of opportunity and the opportunity to be successful. I won't say they were written because other people wanted me to. If I can back into it from a different angle here, The Perfect Tree started out as a short story. I wrote that story in a college English class, and it was the first thing I ever got published in a magazine. And it gained some popularity. A couple friends of mine were like, "Hey, this is really good. You should do more stuff like that."
What magazine?
And then I had you had to ask. It was in 2008, so it was almost 20 years ago. I want to say, pardon me, I want to say it was called Aurora. I want to say the magazine was called Aurora, but I could be mistaken. It was definitely an A word. Sorry, I didn't come prepared to answer that question.
What's this?
But
we asked the hard questions here on the
you asked the hard question. You warned me. But I decided, like, okay, so I don't want to turn this small short story into a full novel, but what if the short story existed in the world of the novel and was written by a character in the novel instead of me? And then I can frame a novel around what the characters drew out of that story as they're growing up. So in the novel, The Perfect Tree, the prologue is actually the short story written by Alfie May Piper. And Alfie May was my aunt's name. Like, she helped raise me. So I gave her a little nod of appreciation. Lord rest her soul. She's been gone since 2002, not 2022, 2002. And then the story unfolds from chapter 1 through the end, and the characters within, like the main character, a little boy named Blake, encounters that story, meets the author at a local library, and learns something from it that later helps him deal with hardship in his actual life. So yeah, it was weird. The short story was successful. I was like, maybe I could get something out of this. I think I have something else to say here. And then the next one was actually a any flavor jelly beans but black, was a NaNoWriMo book. It was written in 1 month, the first draft.
What is NaNoWriMo? What does that mean?
National Novel Writing Month. It takes place in November. It's a bit of a bad word these days. I did it back in, I'll explain why. I did it back in, I want to say it was 2012 when I wrote that in November, National Novel Writing Month. And then it wasn't published until 2015, yes. But now NaNoWriMo is like, they welcome AI short stories and stuff like that, and the use of AI, and a lot of authors in online circles frown upon that, including me. I won't get into it, but I won't get on my soapbox on your all's podcast.
I want to do. Don't mean to detract from
all Josh does is get on soapbox.
I got a bunch. I mean, look at me. I've broken my fair share. But no, like we'll have a little talk. We'll talk a little bit. We'll talk a little bit of AI. There's been a little bit of a conversation going on in our Discord about it. But I want to do a podcast. I want to do an episode on AI and its use in creative endeavors and in nerd spaces, right? And what we feel might be an apropos use and what might be an inappropriate use and that stuff. And see there, I think that could be a fun conversation. It's very important. It's very topical. And I feel like it's very, very much, I think, important for nerds to be aware of what is and what isn't and the uses there. But anyway, by all means, soapbox away, whatever you want to do, but let's, so keep talking about Black Jelly Bean. Or any jelly bean but black. I'm sorry. Keep talking about your little books, Kenny. Keep talking about your little books.
Yeah.
You're talking about whatever with some candy or whatever it is.
Happy to. So
you did it for Nano
Jelly Beans. I love the cover. The cover
that is really good.
By a lady. Her name's Julie Butramovich. She goes by Lights and Swirls on Instagram. She's a fantastic designer. She did that cover and blew me away with it. I didn't think it, I had no expectations going in, and she's like, here's what I came up with. And I was like, no changes, approved, love it. Thank you.
It's really good.
But the book is about, it was, like I said, from plotting to first draft completion, 1 month, first draft was a little over 50,000 words. And it's about a teenager experiencing the fear of death. He's got something wrong with him, and in true teenage fashion, instead of tell his parents and try to solve it, he's like, well, might as well do the things I want to do in life. And he's made his peace. He's like, if this is it, this is it, whatever. I'm just going to live life to the fullest until I don't have it anymore. I think only teenagers can have that that sense of immortality. I know I don't at 42. If I get a nosebleed, I'm like, Doc, I think I'm hemorrhaging to death.
I ate gas station chicken too soon before bed last night and woke up this morning thinking that was it. I was like, I got to tell my kids about it. It was
Great,
bad.
Man. But essentially the plot revolves around he finds out one of his best friends is the victim of horrific child abuse, and they run away to get away from the parents until the friend's 18th birthday, and they can live on their own and not have to be under the same roof as the abusive dad. So
okay.
Like I said, it's and the whole jelly beans thing came from, it's very autobiographical. My first experience with death, when one of my aunts passed away, I was very young, probably 5 or 6 years old. And I remember just being very unruly at the funeral, as small children tend to do. Didn't understand what was going on. Knew that it was weird. I didn't like it. And I remember my mother giving me a bag of those like black licorice flavored jelly beans. And she's like, here, have some candy and calm down. And I ate one and it was putrid. And now every time I smell that smell, I'm right back there at a funeral home in my head. It's just like,
wow.
So that's where the title came from. And that's the character has the same sentiment. So
that's powerful. If it makes you feel any better, when I was a kid, and I only say this just to commiserate, I don't say this to one up you being unruly. When I was a child, we went to a family member's funeral, and I might have been like 8 or 9, I don't know. And my cousin was there with me, and we weren't bad kids, but we were mischievous children. And we ended up turning off the air conditioning for the entire funeral home. And I won't say which one, but we all know which one it is. Up on top of a mountain, something.
Sometimes foggy.
Yep. Sometimes it's foggy up there. And it was just been built. We were in there and I remember going out, seeing a big lever and wondering, what does that do? And flipping it. Turning off the whole damn thing.
He's like, and I was 14.
This was last night. We were young. We didn't know what it was. I flipped it and then heard like a woo. And I went, oh God. And I flipped it back up. Yeah. But anyway, mischievous kids. I did not get black jelly beans. No one knew we did it. We've gotten away with it, and I will take it to my grave after. Well,
except you just announced it on a podcast.
Not now.
Well, if the owners of know and they want to take their pound of flesh, you come get it. You come get it. I'm right here.
For a crime committed 30 years ago.
Yeah.
If they want compensation, tell them to get in line.
Get in line. Better men than you have tried. Okay, so you have, you got a little bit of a library going. These seem like they're very, very deep, very like personally motivated things. Like you have a hand, you have your hand in these. They're emotionally close, I guess. It sounds like that. Like they're right. So again, so what we started on this with, why the shift? So what moved you to do this new book, Queen of the Frostfire? Why the fantasy shift?
Yeah, so my earliest memories, this may say something about my family and what they allowed me to watch as a kid, but hey, it was TBS and TNT, so it was all edited for television. But my earliest memories of life is, I don't know, it's probably 4 years old, sitting in my uncle's living room and watching on the Superstation Beastmaster, Red Sonja, God. Conan the Barbarian, Beastmaster. The 80s pulp.
Oh, what was
pulpy sword and sorcery movies. And I grew up like, Lord of the Rings, when I encountered that, loved it. I I watched the movies before I ever read the books because, as you guys know, when you're from Eastern Kentucky, literary culture is not always a priority, to put it mildly. We don't have a bookstore around here. I think the closest one that is good is Red Spotted Newt and Hazard.
Now, I used to go all the time, and I'm not saying this to like, well, Kenny, let me tell you about one of my things. But we used to go to Read More in Prestonsburg. My dad.
Yeah, it's closed now.
Yeah. That I had some
Sadly
amazing memories of Read More bookstore in Prestonsburg. I was a voracious reader as a kid. Loved that place.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, you obviously did more with it than I did. I make dick jokes on a podcast now. That's what I do. You've written things.
I make dick jokes on the page. So,
how many dick jokes can we expect in Queen of the Frostfire?
Not many, but Jelly Beans has its fair few.
Oh, okay. So Queen of the Frostfire, not worth reading. We've said that. All the Jelly Beans, good. No. Okay, so you grew up fancy Beastmaster, Red Sonja, Conan the Barbarian, all amazing. I was looking up. I couldn't remember the Beastmasters, the ferrets, Kodo and Podo.
And
Podo.
And to show what a fan I still am, my kids got ferrets for Christmas a few years ago, and they named them Kodo and Podo because they too have seen Beastmaster.
That's amazing.
Yeah, those things stink so bad. Like ferrets are smelly.
I had a ferret as a kid for a long, long time, and I loved that thing. But they do. You gotta do maintenance. They are a high maintenance animal.
Yes, they are.
But this isn't the Ken Harris's Ferrets podcast. This is Queen of the Frostfire. So you have a history.
Yeah, it can be.
So hold on. Let's go get the ferrets. Let's talk about the ferrets a little more. Go get them.
I will not do that. No, I'm freshly showered. I don't want ferrets to smell at me.
Go rub a ferret.
It's like yeah. So I say all that to just highlight that fantasy has always been, it's where it started. It was always going to be where it ended up, and it's what I wanted to do. My previous publishing contract was up, so I wasn't beholden to anybody to write anything specific. And I really wanted to dabble in fantasy, and Queen of the Frostfire is not the first thing I wrote. In 2018, I started writing a book that is coming out next year, Lord willing. And I finished it in probably first draft in 2020. And then I worked with an editor friend of mine. She wasn't a friend then. She's now my editor, but we've gotten to be friends. Her name's Allison Cherry. I met her through Reedsy. She's an amazing professional and brought a lot to the book, helped me polish it up. And then I spent another year doing rewrites and working with the editor to just make sure that it was, everything it could be, because it was really what I wanted to do. And it's a 3-part series, two of the books are written of the trilogy.
Oh, okay.
Frostfire was a happy happenstance, coincidence type of moment. I saw an opportunity to submit a fantasy story to a collection that was coming out. It was a winter-themed fantasy collection. I think it was called Winter's Enchantment, published by Azalea Press. And Frostfire, I had the idea for a while, and I was like, it's a short story. I can probably write that, get it edited, submit it pretty quickly, and have a decent shot of getting into that magazine, which didn't end up being a magazine. It ended up being a brick like that big, because they gave fantasy authors a maximum word count of 20,000, and I took every single one of those words, every single one.
Did he also freeze for you just then, Aaron?
He did.
You froze for a second. You're not frozen anymore, but you froze like this, and it was wonderful.
That's just
great.
That's just how I talk. No, but everything coming clear?
Yeah.
Coming through
Yeah,
clear
you're
now?
good. You're
Yeah,
good.
you're good.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So you used all the word count, you said a 22,000 word count is what you said?
20,000.
20,000 word count.
The max for the I say magazine, but like I've got one sitting on my shelf and it's like the size of 3 VHS tapes.
This is like an
stacked side by
omnibus,
side.
right?
Yeah,
Is that the right
it
word?
really is. It had like 12 authors in it and they all published very lengthy stories. So I don't think they knew what they were getting into with the 20,000 word maximum.
The fools.
But yeah, it got accepted and I was stoked. I hadn't, professionally published anything bigger than a short story since 2015, and that one was published in 2023. And now I have the rights back to the story, and we're doing a standalone. So the perks of the standalone is even for people who might have read it in Winter's Enchantment, I'm not beholden to a word count anymore. So it's got all the stuff I wanted to add but didn't have time.
Okay.
It's got a prologue that wasn't included, and it's got the first 2 chapters of my passion project in the back as bonus material. So a little sample of the piece of my soul I left on the page when I wrote that thing. Yeah.
Again, I'm starting to see a trend of you write a short story and then go, I could do better, and then write a full book.
Yeah, let me do some more with this, and then just come out and mess it. So how big did Queen of the Frostfire? You said it was a novella.
It is a novella.
Yeah.
It didn't quite reach 50K. I want to say it ended up being like 26, maybe 27. So definitely on the shorter side for fantasy.
Mm-hmm.
It's also an omniscient point of view, so it's not like trying to do anything clever with like third person close or anything like that, which most of my other books are in. This one is just it gets in there and tells you what it needs you to know and doesn't mince words about it. So it's brief in its execution, but I think it's powerful in its execution.
So can you give us like who's your main character, like plot of the book a little bit? I mean, I know I read the synopsis there, but why this story? I know you did the short story for it that was in the winter, in the winter tales or winter enchantment thing, and it broadened from that. But what moved you to write more on it? Why this story?
I mean, it was done, and I when I published it before, I had to leave off some stuff that I wanted to add. So I was like, I have the rights back. It's done. It's polished. All I have to do is a little bit of work, and I could have a standalone release that I think deserves a standalone release. It's wonderful to be included in a book alongside peers who write similar things. That's a tremendous honor. But when you write something that you're really fond of, having its own standalone release is special. Getting to share it with the world with your own cover, your own presentation. Getting to have a hand in design and how the book looks and feels. I didn't have any of that with Winter's Enchantment. Thankfully, they did a wonderful job. But yeah. As for the plot, you asked about the plot.
Yeah.
So it's a very primitive-ish valley. It's secluded, northern, as the title might suggest. It is a frosty northern atmosphere. And within the valley, the custom is that the queen is not chosen by lineage. The queen is chosen by contest, by willpower, who is deserving. When the queen passes away, which is how this book opens, every person in the valley is like, new queen, I have a daughter. Is she old enough to compete? If so, I would like her to win, because that means I now am royalty. I have power. I have riches. I have, no more working the fields, or no more, being in the military.
Just give the 4-year-old a knife and push him out the door. Go make us proud.
Not quite. Not quite. I think you have to be fit. If memory serves, it's been a couple years since I wrote it. But if memory serves, you have to be 15 to compete. 15 to 40 is the acceptable age range. And those are laws passed by the people of the valley, not the dragon. The dragon is the king. No man is worthy of that title, only the dragon. So, yeah, I don't want to give too much away, but there's a contest. There's a contest, and we have 3 characters that we follow. Their names are Aruna, Thessaly, and some other one that I've forgotten because I wrote it 2 years ago.
That's amazing.
It's a secret one that they have to read.
Yeah, you got to read to find out.
Exactly.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
Exactly.
That makes me feel better about not talking to the author. I'm like, I don't know who the hell's in this book. We'll find out together.
Well, guess who doesn't win? I mean, spoiler. Oops.
Some other character's not important.
The one whose name I forgot.
I'm sure they play a big part in the whole book.
Her name is Sethi. I looked it up.
That's great. Anybody out there who's working on a creative project, if you have ever felt bad because you couldn't answer a question about your project, just look here. This is a best-selling author who just couldn't remember one of his main 3 characters' names. That's incredible. That humanizes you so much to the people, because I feel like our listeners were putting you up on like this.
Don't think
this
so.
like erudite pedestal, Ken, and then you said, no, I'm an everyman. I'm just like you. You bridged that gap. That's good.
And what's funny is, like, if you'd asked me the names of characters of the Perfect Tree, I'd have gave you every one of them.
Yes, that's the good one. That's, of course, is the good one. This one, we don't know if this was going to be good or not. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Time will tell.
I mean, it sounds awesome. Can you tell us more about the dragon, or is that like part of the mystique of the book? It's okay. It's okay to say no, but we will
definitely part of the mystique. Yeah. Definitely part of the mystique.
We will I will forge a bot army to download it on whatever. No. Okay, so we don't get to know anything about the dragon. But the dragon is the king. There's a queen, and then there's a competition, or they got to do something to be. That's cool. I like that.
Yeah,
that sounds really neat. Now, so you said you grew up with Beastmaster and Red Sonja and Conan. That's Hyperborean legend. I mean, essentially, it's sword and sorcery, Robert E. Howard style stuff.
Definitely.
Does this book draw from that?
This one more so than anything else. Yes. It has that, primitive society. You don't look outside the walls of this small village. Mm-hmm. And I would say this one draws from that inspirationally more than others do. I got to be a big fan of grimdark fantasy in my adult years. I love Steven Erikson, Glenn Cook, Joe Abercrombie, those types of authors, and the other things that I've written, published or not, has very much leaned in that direction. Morally gray protagonists and that kind of thing. Very dark world, very gritty. That's not to say that this doesn't have moments of that, but I think our protagonists aren't so morally gray in this one as they would be in like a true grimdark. They're humanized, but they're like, some grimdark authors will give you like absolutely despicable human beings and say, there's your protagonist, cheer for them if you can.
So we're more like Dragonheart or Aragon than we are Lord of the Rings. Or not Lord of the Rings, but Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones.
I would say it's safe to say more Lord of the Rings than Game of Thrones. Yes.
Yeah. So is it a high fan? Like, can we expect magic in this? Or okay.
Yeah. Yes.
He said there'll be magic.
Did he say there will be magic? Okay. I'm sorry, I wasn't listening.
Oh, you're good.
I'm sure I was listening. I'm trying to think of questions that are worth your time.
All right. Okay, I wasn't paying attention to our guest. I'm sorry.
Yeah. He didn't know the name of his own damn character. I can say whatever I want from now on. This is going off the rails. What do you think? What do you think? This is a professional podcast? The 7 people who listen to this are going to be enthralled with it.
Wonderful.
Yeah. Okay, so we said, so is this world? So the world of Frostfire. Did you build like your own kind of fantasy world with a rule set? You know, kind of like we just did an episode on, we did 2 episodes, our first ever 2-part episode on the Lord of the Rings and Tolkien. And that is the quintessential fantasy author, right? We don't have any of this stuff. We probably don't even have Queen of the Frostfire without Lord of the Rings and what it did for fantasy stewardship going forward from that time. So is that, did you kind of do world building before you go into this? Like, what is your process there? What's your creative process as fantasy Ken Harris?
For Frostfire, it was very different than with other projects. It was originally written to be in a, anthology, so not a lot of time for world building. Nothing in depth. It doesn't get super into the politics of the region, but it does get into like the agriculture of the region, how they sustain themselves, how they survive the cold. There's a fair bit of world building, but it leans on a lot of things that already exist in the fantasy genre when you have frigid climates and potential draconic threats looming over you.
Okay. All right, so you didn't like map out broader things than what we get in. You kind of, the world is contained in the book. What we see is what we get.
Oh no! If that was the question, definitely not. There's a lot that didn't make it in just because of the length restrictions. More of it is going to be in the novella than was in the collection, the Winter's Enchantment. But there's always more than what's on the page, and sometimes you write more and then you forget. Like, keep in mind, I haven't put pen to paper on this thing in over 2 years, right? Mm-hmm. So like I've been involved with design and whatnot, and I feel so bad for forgetting poor Seffi. She's gonna be mad at me. But you sometimes as an author you'll map out all these things that you don't write about, and then you'll just mention them in conversation as though they're common knowledge to someone who read the book, and they're like, what are you talking about? Did that with my editor. I'm like, what'd you think about this? And she's like, that's not in your book. And I'm like, really? I was like, oh, that was in my notes. Yeah, you're right. It's in there, it just never says it.
It's between the lines. You got to pick up, take context clues. Yeah. Come on, did you even read the thing? Okay, that's so. What is your process like? What is your writing process like? Do you lock yourself in a room, like shun the you get a big family? I've seen them. You come in guns a-blazing with a whole crew. Like, do you lock yourself away? Like, does the family help out, or what? Like, what is your process like?
I definitely don't lock myself away. During the plotting phase, I love bouncing ideas off the family. Just, like, I got 11-year-old twin boys who love fantasy, so I feel like they're the most honest response you can get if an idea is intriguing or if it's crap, because I'm pretty sure they would both have zero hesitation to be like, Dad, that's poopy, what are you talking about? But during the writing process, I'm a night owl. I write at night. Silence is appreciated but not required. Sometimes I have, headphones and a playlist, just something to like zone out the room and just get into it. And have you heard of the phrase plotter versus pantser? That's the thing. So like a plotter is someone who, before they sit down to write a single word, they plot, like, chapter 1 is going to have these 6 bullet points as elements. Chapter 2 is going to have, and a pantser is someone who writes by the seat of their pants. They don't know the ending of their story yet. Stephen King, pantser. He said in an interview one time, why would I want to plot my story? I'd spoil the ending for myself. Yeah. And I think that's just the most genius thing ever. I am a plotter. I can't help it. I'm a details guy, and that's not to say that my stories haven't surprised me occasionally and gave me the opportunity to do something really cool that I didn't plan for. But there's got to be a plot going in. So the plotting is where I get to have fun. And that's where I include the family, especially the kids. They like getting in on the action. But when I'm writing, that's when the headphones go on and I have to like focus and take all those cool ideas that were on the page and tell a story with them.
So so let's talk about your nerddom a little bit, because we talked about
Sure.
fantasy. You dive into fantasy with this and that. I'm assuming, again, picking up on context clues, that your big thing that you're excited about that's coming out next year, that seems like that probably has a fantasy lean to it as well. Is that?
Yes, absolutely.
Am I safe to assume that? Okay.
You are very safe to assume that.
All right. So we know you have a history in the Robert E. Howard-esque Hyperborean stuff, but I mean, and we got dragons and stuff. Do you play tabletop role-playing games? You have a history of Dungeons and Dragons? Did you that or?
Absolutely. I'm a dungeon master extraordinaire.
Yeah. As an author, right? Like that's
exactly.
That's the thing, right? For people that want to play Dungeons and Dragons, but don't, have the ability to get a bunch of people together. It's just, we'll write a book. Like, have a story, right? Yeah, we'll write a book.
Yeah, you're not wrong. But yeah, I started playing Dungeons and Dragons when I was about 12 years old. I remember me and a friend of mine, Matt Hughes, going to Page 3 Comics and picking up a starter set for, I want to say it was 3rd edition, but it's been forever. 30 years.
If you're 42, you said you're 42, right? So you're a little bit older than me, so that probably was 3rd edition. Because my first foray was
Thaco. Yeah. Remember Thaco?
Mm-hmm. My first foray was 3.5, and you guys are a little bit older than I am, so that's probably
Yep. And I'm glad they took that away, because Thaco was a nightmare. I have no idea. I've heard that said 15 different ways, and everybody says it differently. So I'm just going to go with what I always called it, which was Thaco.
And what is Thaco for our listeners that may not know?
Oh, what was the acronym? It was something with armor class.
Yeah.
2-hit armor class.
0.
Yeah, that was it.
Yeah. Yep. I Googled it. People can probably hear my keyboard. I was like, it's 2-hit. Well, I wanted to be sure. I knew what it was. I knew what it was.
It was a nightmare is what it was.
Yeah.
I wasn't a fan.
Yeah.
We play 5e now, and I'm all about it. Aaron, you okay, man?
My camera has lost focus again.
Oh, I thought you were having a moment.
Sometimes he just has to.
A little bit.
He feels the spirit.
I understand.
Well, while Aaron's dealing with whatever the hell he's dealing with. So so Thaco was 3rd edition. I actually don't know if Thaco wasn't 3rd. Thaco was 2nd, I think.
Okay.
I don't know if 3rd edition was. Yeah, because they moved away from it in 3rd and 3.5, I believe. Okay.
The timeline's all a blur. My characters aren't the only things I forget. I also forget facts about my own life. It's an old guy thing.
No, they may have done it in.
It was removed with the release of 3rd edition.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, that's what I thought.
So I was off by an edition.
Yeah. So you are you old son of a bitch. You are old. with your 2nd edition D&D.
Guilty.
Yeah. Okay, so you said you're a dungeon master extraordinary. Are you like a permanent dungeon master? Like, are you a forever DM? Is that who you are?
I mean, I like to play occasionally, but DMing's what I enjoy the most. And I would say I'm a permanent fixture DM in our current play group. Occasionally somebody else will be like, hey, I got a really cool idea for a campaign. Mind if I take next week? And I'll be like, absolutely. And I have a character rolled up that joins the party occasionally,
Yeah.
And coincidentally, my character is a character from my upcoming project.
So that's what I was going to. So how much of your D&D experience, because we're seeing this now a lot in contemporary nerddom of Dungeons and Dragons adventures, Dungeons and Dragons primarily with Critical Role in that, becoming their own kind of basis for standalone series or these shows or movies or whatever have you. Critical Role, Vox Machina, I guess is what it's called, right? And then there's a new one that just came out,
The Mighty Nine.
That one, and these are all based around Critical Role adventures. So how much of your adventures as a DM or a player have influence? Are we going to see, when we read the stories, are we going to get a little bit of what Ken Harris played?
Yeah, absolutely. Didn't start out, that wasn't the original intent. The original intent was just to have fun, and being passionate about storytelling, DMing was very attractive. But the longer I did it, the more it got to be like, hey, I could totally like test out this idea and see if people are into it. It's a small test group, but it's a test group.
Yeah.
So, and my absolute favorite author, and I don't think I'll ever change my mind on this now that I've finished his biggest series, is Steven Erikson. He wrote Malazan or Malazan. I've heard it pronounced both ways. Not sure which he prefers, but it's a masterpiece. It is an absolute masterpiece, and it was basically drawn from his D&D adventures with his friend. I mean, and his friend wrote in the Malazan universe as well. So,
I mean, that's what we do, right? Like as DMs, I think there's a lot. I think you find that authors or creatives make really good DMs. I think you almost have to be.
Yeah.
Not necessarily have to be. When we talk about Dungeons and Dragons and just role playing's for everybody, but the more you can put yourself into the story, or the more you can envision out there, the more you can kind of fill it out for your players. And I think the more they get out of it.
The best compliment I ever got from a player in a D&D group was, no, you can't end it there. We can't wait a week to find out what happens here. Don't leave us hanging, man. That's like the best compliment you can get as a DM, in my opinion. At least the best one I've ever gotten.
Absolutely. Yeah, I love the cliffhanger in session that makes the play. And as a player, I love that. And I have about it. We play with DM Pat, who's been on the show, who's in our tabletop role playing game episode.
Nice.
We play a Pathfinder with him once a week, and he's phenomenal DM. I think I'm a okay DM. I do more Call of Cthulhu. I like my horror role playing more than really anything, but I think I'm okay. That guy puts me to shame. He's so incredible and so prepared. Like, like, so I am a pantser when it comes to DMing. I will prepare a little bit. I will. I'll have a general idea of I'd like it to go this way, but I always get worried about railroading, and almost to a fault. And so I've had my fair few experiences with people in my group. I've got this planned out, and then they make a decision that's way out of left field, and then I have to pivot. So and you have to be able to. You have to be able to. Now, does that carry over to your writing? Like we've talked about pantser versus planner. Like, have there been times that even despite your planning that you've been writing, something's come to you and you're like, oh man, I got to change this. I got to go through, or is
all
it
the
been,
time?
Okay.
All the time. I never commit fully 100% to an outline. An outline's a guide to get me where I want to go. It's but more often than not, opportunities present themselves to do something really cool. Yeah. And I'm not gonna say no. If the opportunity's there, I'm at least gonna explore it.
So this is where we find out that Queen of the Frostfire started out as a story called The Marionette and the Minotaur. It's completely changed. And we pivoted.
How'd you know? No.
Yeah, you just start first line. It was snowing. Oh, damn. Okay, hold on now. Let's change this up a little bit.
That's not a Minotaur. That's a dragon.
It was real cold. And there was a dragon in the What is, how verbose do you get? This may be a difficult thing to answer. And I unfortunately haven't been able to read your stuff. And I'm going to read your stuff. How verbose do you find yourself getting do you think you are a verbose writer? Like, do you, a good example of that is, do you ever read H.P. Lovecraft?
Yes.
Okay. The guy is just horny for adjectives, right? Like that is everything is a squamous, gelatinous, hideous, horrible thing that is unspeakable and unworldly, and it'll go on. Like, setting a scene takes quite a while, right? It's indescribable, and then the next like 3 pages are describing it.
Describing it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So do you find that you do any of that? Like, do you enjoy I like reading that as a reader. I don't find that to be a negative. Some people do, but what is your writing style?
A lot of people do. So my first drafts are very much like that. They're very purple prose, if you will. And that's frowned upon by most English teachers. But first drafts are for fun, that then I get to polish. So I would say a finished draft, a finished product is going to be descriptive without being overly so. I would say that my style is, I like dense prose. Stephen Erickson writes incredibly dense prose, and he doesn't force feed you anything. He's like, figure it out. You got a brain. And that I think I've got a lot of that from him. You won't see it in Frostfire because, 20K is not a lot for fantasy, but in other fantasy books that I've written that have not been published yet, it's definitely there. It's what I like to read, and I think that as creators, we create what we like. So, I think Aaron went into witness protection, by the way.
He's trying to get it. Turn it off and back on. Just turn it off and back on. Instead of scaring the hell out of people. Your face so close to the camera. Just turn it off and back on.
All right.
Because when we do this, and people will hear this, we'll leave this in. When we do this, our video things are not going to be in the same spot they are. Travis moves them and puts them out when he edits this. Yeah. So turn your camera back on and see if it fixes.
I don't know why it just all of a sudden lost focus.
There you go.
And just like that, you're crystal clear.
I think it's because your skin is paler than the thing in the background, and it's
trying to determine if that wall is made of human flesh or not.
Yeah, it's trying to figure out if that futon mattress or whatever that is back there is you. That's
me.
Yeah.
Or if I'm just another futon laying here.
Yeah. All right.
But that futon got a beard.
So let's get into your nerddom, Kenny. So let's do more Kenneth. Yeah. You went by Kenneth in the first books, right?
I did, yeah.
Why the switch?
I mean, it's a different me. It's a different style. It's a different genre. So I wanted a name that was more casual, I identify more with.
Okay.
I think Kenneth is it was my dad's name, So, I mean, my dad's Kenneth. Call me Ken. That kind of thing.
It might say my middle name
my
is
choice.
Kenton. My dad's Kenny. My grandfather was Kenneth.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
My son is Kenton.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So
cool. We got to do a whole nother interview with Ken and then Kenneth.
Yeah, we'll do. You'll be like Mick Foley.
Yeah. Like the Mick Foley of the author world.
Yeah.
I can live with that.
Although I think he wrote a book, so I think he is the Mick Foley of the author world.
Yeah, it was like a autobiographical thing.
Yeah, whatever. That's not right. That doesn't even count as. It's probably ghostwritten. You heard it here. Ken Harris thinks Mick Foley's a hack. That is.
I did not say that.
Ken Harris hates Mick Foley. You heard it here.
I love Mick Foley.
We're going to clip this. We're going to put it on YouTube. It's going to be all over.
The propaganda starts. Here we go.
The trap.
Just as much as Cody hates women, Ken Harris. No, I can't say that because the episode where I made the joke about Cody didn't air. So that has no context to it. Cody loves women. We're not. Anyway, he's not here to defend himself, so I can't say that. Okay, so this may be a dumb question, but is there any worry that like swapping author names like that, even though it's a small jump, right, from Kenneth to Ken, is that like, do you worry that people who really liked your first book won't associate Ken Harris with Kenneth, or what do you do marketing wise to
I think that the people who, generally speaking, it's two different audiences, right? Like
Yeah.
literary fiction has its audience, fantasy has its audience. There's going to be some overlap. Like I'm part of that overlap, but largely I'm not too concerned with that. I've worked really hard to build a social media following. I promote my short stories on there. I promote Frostfire on there, and I've promoted my old books on there, and people just kind of like, yeah, okay, this guy swapped up his name a little bit. No biggie.
Yeah. And we'll have links to all your social media stuff in the show notes. So down below this, if you're watching on YouTube, down below we'll have links to all of Ken's stuff, everything through there, and then we'll also be posting that out when we put this live. If you're listening on Spotify, it's in the show notes, stuff like that, and we'll talk about it too at the end, and you plug everything, go through all that. So again, let's talk about your nerddom. So Dungeons and Dragons. So what is your favorite? So you said Dungeons and Dragons was the first thing you played. You and Matt, another mutual friend. Hi, Matt and Misty, if you're listening, we love you. What
the nerdiest thing I've ever done and continue to do to this day is Magic the Gathering. I've been playing Magic the Gathering since I was very young. And I just played Friday Night Magic last week with my kids. So it's very much a tradition in this house. I can't get enough. Gotta turn some land sideways, get into the red zone, as they say. Yeah. Big fan.
As you can tell, I hate all things fantasy.
Yeah, I can tell.
Yeah.
I love comics. I see your Captain America stuff back there. Batman, Moon Knight, Swamp Thing. I have a Swamp Thing shelf. It's just full of Swamp Thing collectibles. I like Justice League. I've never got really into the Avengers. I don't know why, except when Moon Knight was a member and he was like really messing their shit up. That was a cool arc. But yeah, dig comics. Anime. I got a Berserk tattoo. I don't know if you can see it. There we go. Yeah, I got the curse mark. Big fan of anime. We used to go to a little video store called Sean's Video as younger
Sean's,
people.
We have talked about Sean's update video several times on the podcast.
Yep.
Several times.
We would find, that's where we found Ghost in the Shell, Akira, some that we were not old enough to watch when
Same,
we watched them.
buddy. Heavy metal. Fritz the Cat. I know we're talking anime, but I mean, adult-ish cartoons. La Blue Girl.
Yep.
If anybody knows what that is, I probably shouldn't have said that out loud.
I don't know what that is.
Yeah, the good save there. I'm sure we'll talk about it off air. That's for Hills Have Nerds After Dark.
Steer this back onto the rails.
Nope.
Video games. Love video games, man. Mm-hmm. I was a avid gamer from NES to PS5 and PC currently. So I love RPGs. Always been a fan of the Final Fantasy series, Earthbound as a kid, Chrono Trigger, Breath of Fire. These days I've been playing Persona 5 Royale Edition.
Nice.
That's fantastic. The Final Fantasy 7 Remake and Rebirth, recently played those. Just can't get enough of that stuff. My kids are like, you should play a real game like Fortnite. And I'm like, maybe.
Play a real game like Fortnite.
I can't build and shoot at the same time. I don't know what you want me to do.
That's the dumbest thing in the world. It's awful. It's miserable. That is my old man screams at cloud. Why in the hell do I want to build an outhouse when I'm shooting at something? This is stupid. I played one damn time with my kid, and I saw something. I'm like, I'm about to light this mofo up. And the second I shot him, he built a 4-story house with a garden after one shot. Like he built affordable housing. He built a project. Like all through it, people had moved in. There were U-Hauls. By the time I hit the second shot, it was insane.
I don't know what you mean. I
don't understand it. I don't get it how they do that. Like it's not good. It's it's not good for our youth.
I will say that I play with my kids from time to time, and my win rate is way better than it should be, but I don't do anything. I die, and then they win the match, and I get credit for it. So,
hey, you get credit for it, and that's all that matters.
Yeah, pretty much. My win rate on Fortnite is 0 for 1. I played one game of Fortnite.
Cool.
I just no. I've spent a lot of money on it for my kids, but no.
I played Spellbreaker, which is Magic Fortnite, but
Yep.
that's it.
It didn't survive. It did it. I think the servers
It did
went
not.
down.
No, yeah.
All right, so you're a nerd. So what is your you are from here, right? So we talked about you're a local boy. Obviously, we've run in the same hollers, right? Local boy done good.
Yep.
How much of that has any of your upbringing here in Appalachia, here in the hills of Eastern Kentucky, how much of that has influenced your writing? And that's probably it's a softball question, right? But I think
it
it's
is a softball question. Right? It's a ton is the answer. Both of my first two books, I mean, Perfect Tree is a holler book. The word holler is in that book multiple times. It takes place in very Appalachian neighborhood area with, I'm going to ride my bike across the road, go over to the next holler, see my friends, that kind of thing. Jelly Beans was, it was set in like North Carolina, but it was still very rural. Slightly more urban than I think my time at college influenced that story more than anything. But Frostfire is actually like, I bet both of you will read that and be like, the Frostfire Valley is just a holler, because it is.
Like, just
what is it? Exactly. So I mean, like, what?
The queen of Poor Bottom.
But no, I mean, like, if I look at where I live, I've got mountains on all sides of me except for one, and it's the way out, and I mean that's a valley. We don't have dragons that I know of, but we got wild horses, and they're scarier than dragons sometimes.
There's something like really poignant about I've got mountains all around me except one way, and that's the way out. There's something just very, I don't know, what's the word I'm looking for, profound about that statement when talking about the area we live in. I don't know, that got me for
jotting it down for the next book.
I would. That's good, dude. Write that. I pointed it out, so give me some credit. Give me some production credit or something, but that's fine.
And I've actually dabbled in nonfiction, but I've never published anything. It's a story that's super personal to me, about the murder of my father. He was murdered 2 months before I was born, and nearly everybody I've ever known lied to me about it, for protection, of course. I don't hold it against them. They didn't want me to know that ugly truth until I was old enough to handle it. And I don't know if you're ever old enough to handle something like that. But, I did do a little bit of like investigation on my own, local library, going through old newspapers and things like that on microfilm. And I found some stories from when it happened, and all that got spawned because when my mother passed away, we were cleaning her home out and moving everything to my place, and I found the death certificate, and it says plain as day, homicide. Oh, wow. And my sister, half sister, but she's sister, her copy of the death certificate, homicide, was scratched out, and it said pending. And there was never a full-fledged investigation that anyone knows about. And you're not supposed to be able to change a cause of death from the coroner's original report without an investigation. So that got me curious. So I started looking into it, and I have explored nonfiction with that.
This conversation took a hell of a left turn. Okay.
Yeah, but
I'm not making light of your situation, but that is
Sure.
an extremely compelling thing, Kenny. I mean, I'm so sorry that you found out about it later in life, and that was something that was obviously very heavy for anyone at any age to
Still
deal
is. I
with.
mean, that's why I
Yeah.
haven't fully written a book about it, because
Yeah.
it does take a toll. The more you learn, and it's like you find something and you're sitting there holding your breath, hoping it's not what you think it is. Then it is, and it's like you're holding your breath, and then you get punched in the gut by something out of left field you didn't expect. So it's a very weird frame of mind to be in, and I'll get
I
us
can
back
imagine.
onto a lighter topic really quickly.
Well, no, thank you. Thank
But
you for sharing that.
Oh,
man.
yeah.
I mean, really,
yeah,
thank you.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's not something that I've talked about publicly a lot before. But if I ever want to be serious about exploring it, um, whether in writing or publishing or just for myself, I got to get more comfortable with talking about it. So good opportunity to do that.
Yeah. Well, again, thank you for sharing that and having that moment of vulnerability, man. We're people,
Yeah, sure.
right? Everybody's a person. Everybody deals with things. Some things significantly heavy, but yeah, thanks for sharing. And I hope the best to you on all of that.
Appreciate it.
Growing with that,
Appreciate it.
dealing with it. Right. So let's move, like you said, to a little lighter fields. So growing up nerd in Appalachia, you said you pulled on your experiences in the kindly hollers of Appalachia. Do you have a good experience there? I mean, as like growing up, when you identify yourself as a nerd, do you identify yourself as a hillbilly nerd? Are you an Appalachian nerd, or what? What does that mean to you? What does the word nerd mean to you in the Appalachian context? And I don't know if I'm explaining myself enough, but yeah.
I'll take a stab at it, and you can tell me if I missed the target.
Sure, I'll tell you if you answered this open form question, this very personal question, wrong or right. Let's go.
Yeah, sounds good.
Very subjective.
I never really thought about it in terms of like Appalachian nerd, hillbilly nerd, anything like that. I've just always been like me, and I never really labeled it anything. I'm sure other people labeled it all kinds of stuff, and I probably don't want to know what half of it is. But for me, it was, like growing up here was like it is anywhere else. There's good experiences, there's bad experiences, both of which are unique to the backdrop of Appalachia. Just like a kid growing up in New York City has both positives and negatives, I'm sure, that are unique to that place. But growing up, nerd was different. Like nerd get your ass beat when you in the 90s. So but it was like, it was like everybody's the protagonist of their own story, and looking back on it, it looks like a rerun of Stand By Me. Stephen King's The Body made into a movie. But it was always like me and my friends riding our bikes, going to play basketball, getting chased by bullies. All of that happened right out in front of Aaron's house. I'm pretty sure he'd probably look out his window, see me and Matt riding our bikes and two bullies chasing us, like in A Christmas Story, where those guys are like, "Hey guys, wait up!"
I was clearly one of the bullies.
I can imagine Aaron peering out the window, seeing that, and just shutting everything. Nope, the whole bunch of goddamn business.
Something that became apparent to me later in life is that sometimes the bullies think they're the victims and we're the bullies, and everybody has their antagonist, right? And all of it's just as valid as anything else. And I'll use my own kid as an example. Mm-hmm. He used to be painfully shy. Like, he was so shy, he didn't want to talk to anybody. He was very introverted. He's not anymore, as I'm sure you know. But he started playing basketball, little league basketball, when he was like 8 years old, maybe a little younger. And there was this kid who played on the opposing team who was just like a rock star basketball player. Like, his team won every match, and he was just this cocky, flamboyant, like he was like a showstopper kind of kid. He didn't just play, he put on a show, and he was like 8 or 9 years old. Right. And I asked my son if he knew the kid, and he's like, kinda, yeah. I mean, like, I don't really like him, I was like, is he mean to you? And he's like, no, not really. Just, he's loud and I'm not. And, I was like, I think he even might have used the word like he seems like a bully. And we were sitting at our our local donut shop downtown one day, and that kid and his dad came in, and he came up and just kind of like patted my son on the back, and he's like, "Hey Cass, what's up?" But it wasn't just like, "Hey Cass," he was like, "Hey Cass, what's up?" He's like super loud about it. And my son just gave him a look like he was a piece of garbage. And I was like, "Why didn't you say hi back?" And he was like, "He was picking on me." And I'm like, "No, he wasn't. He was just, that's just him, And it makes me look back on my own childhood and wonder how much of that happened with me, because I was an introverted kid. I wonder how many times I branded somebody a bully when they were just they had a different style of communicating and a style that I didn't get a click with. I wonder if they thought I was the jerk because I didn't say hi back or something. No. But now my son's not like that anymore. He grew out of his shyness very quickly. I think COVID had a lot to do with instilling that shyness in him. But playing basketball for however many years has really brought him out of that.
Youth sports, group activities, bringing them down to the gaming company and playing games, getting them out and seeing people is just, there's nothing like it. There's nothing like socializing and gaming as a social activity. We can sit here at the computer and play MMOs or Fortnite on Xbox or whatever for as long as we want to, but there's just something special about sitting down at a gaming table across from somebody and sharing that experience physically. It's
not the same.
Yeah.
But you asked about nerddom in Appalachia, and I got on a tangent about bullies and my kids and all this stuff. So
it's okay. We don't ever go on tangents in this show, so it's okay. Just tighten it up there, Harris. Tighten it up.
No podcast ever does, right?
No, never.
So I'll try to be a little bit more professional. But no,
quick, name all your characters, quick, right
now. Wasn't always super wealthy as a kid, so instead of buying games, we rented them. Palace Video, Sean's Video, they always had the cool new games. If you could beat it in a weekend, awesome. If not, get it next weekend if you're lucky.
I go down to Wildcat Video in Dorton all the time because I'm in the Virgie past that area, so we had Sean's that way and then Wildcat the other way. And I just remember going every time we go to Wildcat, no offense to anybody to Wildcat Video, it was the lesser store by a tremendous amount.
Sean's was just
something
legit,
else,
man. They had everything, multiple copies too.
We had Video Palace on Shelbyana.
Okay.
It's open for a little while. Yeah.
Nice.
That's where we did a lot of renting.
I didn't mean to interrupt you, Ken. I just wanted to
no, you're good.
Mention Wildcat Video while I was thinking about it.
My retirement plan is Magic the Gathering. I've kept a lot of my cards from when I played as a kid, and now they're worth thousands of dollars, which is unreal to me. When I looked up prices, I took a 5 or 6 year break at one point, especially when the kids were young, because they eat cards, and I'd like to keep them. But the prices jumped so much, even just recently, especially on the older stuff. And I think Commander's doing a lot with that. I don't want to get too deep into Magic, but this is a nerd podcast, so maybe everybody knows.
By all means, what is your favorite deck to play? Let's talk about Magic. What's your favorite deck to play in Magic?
I like a good mid-range deck.
Yeah, we're about 15 minutes away from ending the show. This is actually probably a good segue into, we do a little rapid fire, a little nerdy question and answer thing. Or Aaron, do you have anything you wanted to ask before we get into that? Or anything you wanted to talk about?
No. We can go. Okay.
So yeah, we'll start it off. So what is your favorite archetype color to play in Magic?
Oh, my favorite color is black, and I love a good mid-range deck. Something with a lot of interaction, hand disruption, maybe a counter spell or two, and then you land a threat late in the game and take over. I like modern. You don't really do that in modern, so I have to pivot a little bit. Play tempo in modern, but yeah.
The last time I remember seeing you play Magic in person was at Page 3 when I was general manager there, and you came up and you were like, "Yeah, I got this deck. I either win in 4 turns or lose in 4 turns."
That is correct. Yep. Yeah. I've played a fair few of those too.
I like Magic, man. I love the idea of it. I love the idea of it. I mean, I got Pokemon cards over here. way. Me and my wife have started getting into the Gym Leader Challenge format for Pokemon, which is kind of like Popper meets Commander in Magic. I think we talked about it at one point, kids.
Magic is
like
an investment.
It's not like I have Magic cards in Reach or anything, man.
All this. Let me tell you about this real quick. This stupid fucking card. Okay, so this thing. This is in Zoroark special illustration rare from the Pokemon Journey Together set. When I pulled this thing, I pulled it down at East Kentucky Cards and Collectibles. Shout out to JR and Dwayne. Pulled it down there, and then I was getting another card graded. One that I sold was a Neo Genesis Lugia. Sold it for a decent amount. It was a good card. And I bought a pack on a whim and pulled this card. And this was one of the chase cards from the set. And that was great. Awesome. Cool. And at the time, it's like a $300 card.
Wow.
And I thought, hell yeah, man. I just paid $6 for a pack. Pulled this. Cool. And I was sending that one card off to PS. I'd never gotten anything graded before in my life. And the one that I sold was worth doing that. Essentially almost like buying a lottery ticket for it. And I thought, well, this is a good card. Right now, a graded one's going for like 8 or 9. If it comes back with a good grade, I've just pulled it, slid it, sent it off. So I sent it. It took PSA 6 months to send this damn thing back to me. 6 months. Okay. I actually think it might have been like 7 or 8. Do you know how much it was worth? And it came back as a friggin' 8 for one. And you
fresh
know,
out of the pack. And
yeah,
it's an 8.
fresh out of the pack, a friggin' 8. And do you know how much it's worth?
You open the pack.
Yeah, I know. That was my fault. I put hands on it. It's fucking Schrodinger's PSA rating is what it is. Like I changed the rating by having it graded. I changed the grading by having it graded. That is what it is. It's the theory of it's quantum grading, quantum juxtaposition. No, but it's, you know how much it's worth now by the time it came back? $60. $60. Had I just pulled it out, put it on the table, got money for it, because I don't care about Zoroark. Who cares about Zoroark? Goth kids and edgelords care about Zoroark. Nobody we worry about cares about Zoroark. $60. It's dumb. Don't grade your cards, kids. It's a scam. Don't grade them. It's dumb.
Wow.
Anyway,
I never got the idea of grading trading card games. Like, I'd rather just play with them. Why put them in a case?
now I say that, and I have a $1,000 Charizard sitting graded on my shelf over there.
Yeah,
but that was what it was.
I've got an Underground Sea out of beta. It's worth a few thousand.
Oh,
I'm
wow, yeah.
seriously considering getting that thing graded because I don't want to play with it. I'm afraid it'll fall apart.
It's scary.
That's a different setting.
Well,
I mean, like a brand new card, like you pulled out a pack.
Yeah,
I was like,
yeah,
great.
But I don't know. It's a scam. I want to do an episode on card grading too. Like I absolutely do, because I want to rant for days, but I don't want to rant right now. I want to take Kenny's time. All right.
Yeah.
So you told us what archetype you like to play Magic. You prefer Commander over Modern?
No, I'm a Modern player at heart.
Okay.
I play Commander when I have to.
All right, nice. Okay, let's talk some fantasy stuff. Let's talk some fantasy questions. This is a fantasy book, fantasy author. Let's get your take on fantasy. So, when your quintessential fantasy monster, you obviously included a dragon in this one. Do you prefer, is that like in your head that is the ideal fantasy monster, or do you associate something else?
I think the ideal fantasy monster is just somebody with too much power and the wrong ideas. You know, like
is dragon or dark wizard, right?
Dragon, dark wizard, corrupt king possessed by some kind of otherworldly being that may or may not be a nod to the next book. You know, things of that nature. It's got to be bigger than you, and you got to have a journey if you have any hope of defeating it. That's the perfect fantasy monster. Okay.
So do you, with your Magic in your books, when you're DMing, when you're creating, do you do a lot of homebrew, or do you like pull from pre-written scenarios when you're DMing?
Oh, when I'm DMing, dang near everything I do is comes out of this head. This whole noggin on my shoulders. And occasionally, I'll, like I said earlier, test ideas on my D&D group. I've got a story cooking that I haven't written a whole lot of, but I'd love to write. I got at this point in my life, I've got a bucket list. I want to write these 5 books before I die. That's the goal. And to see if they're worth my time, I'll throw the majority of the plot, at least the backdrop, the setting, into a D&D campaign and see if people interact with it well, see if they ask questions about it, see if it's intriguing. If it's not, and people are just kind of sitting around twiddling their thumbs, maybe I work on something else.
Nice.
All right, cool.
So you've DM'd a lot. I assume you've played some games. What's your favorite character you've ever played in a D&D game?
That would probably be
any tabletop for that matter too. It doesn't have to be just D&D.
Yeah. Tabletop.
Okay, sure. I'd probably have to go with a character I created for D&D. He's a drow elf. His name's Lethilius. He's a rogue. And he's the background of an urchin, somebody who grew up orphaned, horrible childhood.
You're really breaking the fantasy barriers here. Like really just knocking it out of the park, breaking the stereotypes, shirking expectation.
No, I like the character. It's D&D, but that was the most fun I had playing D&D. That wasn't DMing.
What was he like? What was your character like?
Oh, he was an asshole.
Yeah.
He was an asshole that didn't want to be an asshole, but the world had kind of trained him to be an asshole.
He's like a douchebag with a heart of gold type dude.
I don't even think he had a heart of gold. He just really regretted it afterwards.
Just like John.
That's what I was thinking, but I wasn't going to say it.
I don't regret it. I live my life with so much regret.
Fair.
I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die with regret. Never gonna do the things I want to do. Okay, so are you when you play? Are you more of a melee guy? Or you like the caster archetypes? Like,
melee for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I especially like the sneakiness of a rogue archetype.
Okay. Cool. That's like the one
doing underhanded things.
It's like the one class I've never played.
Like
yeah, I get that.
Super high charisma, just like in real life. Kidding. I play the characters I can't be in real life.
Hey, that's something we talk about all the time when we talk about role-playing games. We just had a great conversation with Adam Watson, bringing tabletop role-playing into the classroom, about how it helps kids kind of be who they wouldn't necessarily be. Sorry, somebody's blowing up my phone. Lets you play the character like you may be shy and introverted, but Lethilian, is that what you said your rogue was?
Lethilius.
Damn, I was close. I was a hell of a lot closer than I thought I was going to be. Lethilius, he comes out of his shell, or something like that. Like it's a great tool.
I've always dreamed of being an asshole. No, I'm kidding.
I always wanted to be a turd with no repercussions. It's great.
Silver tongue devil. I can't do it in real life, so it's got to happen at the tabletop.
So when you're coming up with stuff, when you're creating this fantasy world, so when I want to ask some questions just specifically about Frostfire. When you're building the fantasy world, what is the hardest thing to come up with for you? Like, what is it? The names or the character? What's the hardest thing to name? Characters, places, or like your MacGuffins?
I think the hardest part of it is the stuff that doesn't always make it onto the page, like the backdrop, like agriculture, religion, sustainability. Because if a world is going to be believable, it's got to have those elements, right? Because these people live in the frigid mountains. How do they survive? I don't know. They just do. That's not what I wanted to accomplish. So
I believe
especially the last couple of weeks around here, right? Yeah. So it's yeah, just that's the hardest part is making it make sense to myself, and I don't even know that matters a ton to readers, but it matters to me when I'm reading a book. If like something just it happens because the author wanted it to, or it comes out of left field and doesn't really make a lot of sense, I think it takes me out of the story, and I like the story less. So I try not to bring that same frustration to readers, whether they have it or not.
That's my favorite stuff to look into things. Like I like the background lore and how the world works. I love looking at stuff.
And to Josh's point earlier, I think Tolkien is a reason why I feel that way, because his world was so fleshed out, you know.
So in a few years, we're gonna get Ken Harris's Frostfire equivalent of the Silmarillion, right? When we're 15, you know, Wheel of Time-esque in this fantasy world of Frostfire, 10 years down the road, we're gonna have like the compendium of the land that you built. I see it.
It is possible.
I see it, Kenny. I see merchandise. I see a role-playing game built in the land of Frostfire. We can do some Magic the Gathering probably is going to do a secret lair with it. Like,
yeah, of course.
Very good chance. They did SpongeBob.
Universes Beyond. Universes Beyond.
Yeah, they did SpongeBob. Why the hell not yours, right?
That's a whole nother soapbox.
Dude, we can. Oh, God, I want to talk about it so bad, kid.
Right after.
All right. So we talked. So you told us about your rogue that ticked every box of rogue trope in D&D, which is fun. I mean, I'm not giving you shit about that, but it's fun. No, it's fun to play that. Like, there's a reason that's the archetype. It's a fun archetype to play, and it fits well with the class and the scoundrel there. What is your favorite trope that you like? What is your favorite like fantasy trope?
Oh, that's a tough one. I enjoy the trope of the awful hero, like the person who they're not a good person, but they've been forced to do the right thing, maybe for the wrong reasons. I think it highlights flaws more than fiction used to. So if you look at any grimdark book protagonist, you're going to see it. Steven Erikson does it well. I know I mentioned him a lot. He's not paying me, I swear. Glenn Cook does it extremely well, and I even think Erikson pulls a lot from Glenn Cook. He's considered by many to be like the godfather of grimdark, and examples of that is just the Black Company, Grimdark, Glenn Cook.
Oh, Glendark.
That's his. Yeah, that's my new pen name, by the way. That's my new pen name.
Glendark. Oh yeah. Next book. To hell with the Ken stuff. Glendark. Oh, that's great.
That's when you move to sci-fi fantasy.
Yeah.
Yeah. But his Glenn Cook's quintessential grimdark series is the Black Company. I think most would agree with that. And his protagonists are a band of mercenaries who work for the big bad. They're on the big bad's payroll. And boy, does that tell an interesting story, you know? So like, I think that's become my favorite trope, especially in recent years, is seeing a protagonist that you follow that they're not a good person. They do morally questionable things at every turn, but they end up making the right decisions at the end of the day and showing personal growth.
The reluctant hero.
There was another book that I read. I think it was called Prince of Thorns. Does that extremely well. The protagonist is just this spoiled little piece of shit, but you find yourself rooting for him because he's doing things that matter, even though he's not doing them for the reasons that matter. So I like that trope because I think we've all made mistakes in our life. Everybody does, you know. We got to learn from it. We got to grow from it. And if you can tell a good story that shows that nobody's perfect, by all means, do it. I'll read it.
Nice. Okay. Absolutely. Aaron, you got anything?
Well, I have my famous question I'll have to ask.
We to save that for the end. Save that for the end.
I'm so terrified. of that famous question.
I would. I wouldn't be. Don't be. It's ridiculous. So again, let's talk some fantasy quick fire. We keep saying quick fire, then we go into these long things. So these are like yes or no. No
okay,
thought
let's
to
do
it. All right. Could you survive 1 week in Frostfire?
Hell no.
All right. What's the worst job in your fantasy kingdom? What's the worst job to have in a frozen fantasy kingdom?
Chamber pot cleaner.
Oh.
All right.
Yeah, I think that's any fantasy.
If you can think of a worse one, let me know.
What is you don't have to answer this one. What is one modern object, I love this, that would break your entire plot?
Oh gosh. GPS.
GPS. MapQuest
like it,
ruins
yeah.
the whole damn thing. If they had
It sure does. It's like we need to get where? Okay, just type it in here. Oh, go that way.
All right, if you could pick anybody to narrate the audiobook of Queen of the Frostfire, who would it be? Your dream audiobook.
Man.
narrator.
I mean, honestly, you with that killer intro, like it gave me chills, man. Like, we're gonna
good.
talk. We might cut a deal.
Best guest ever. Best guest ever. Dude, you give it to me, I'll read it. We'll do it. We'll get it. I mean, it's gonna have some twang to it. It's gonna
I'm into that.
We'll do it.
I'm into that.
And the queen come down from her throne.
Hey, said, God dang, what the dragon. Said, good damn, that dragon shoot. Look at the tackle on that son bitch as he swung through the hill. He about tore up a whole trailer park. I swear to God. Came through.
I tell you what.
Bill Jim's sitting out on his outside couch. Damn, is that the queen? I swear, she's prettier than a Sunday church something, or I don't know. Wilder than a possum in a thrift store was what I heard recently. That was, I was like, okay, what?
I hear a new version of your book. Right.
I do too.
There we go.
I do too. Yeah. I can't believe I left out the part about the dragon taking out the trailer park.
This is
low-hanging fruit.
These are stories of it's tales of Frostfire. These are small like snippets from like this is essentially. I'm telling you, Kent. We merchandise everything. We're doing the whole 10 yards with their whole 9 yards with
Instead
this.
of Frostfire Valley, we just make Frostfire Creek.
Yeah, Frostfire Holler. Yeah, absolutely.
Frosty Bottom.
Frosty Bottom. Yes.
Frosty Bottom.
Frosty Bottom. Absolutely. And these are like just little snippets of life in the trailer park of Frostfire.
One time in the ancient land of Pikeville, Kentucky, 2026, there came a snowstorm. Pikeville never recovered. These are the tales.
Dude.
That there queen took over.
Dude, that I'm thinking about it.
Yep.
You watch Did you watch Reign of Fire? Were they the contemporary like release of a dragon in the world? Like they were mining and it woke up a dragon. It came up. Matthew McConaughey has an axe and jumps in its mouth for some reason.
I don't think I did, but I'm gonna.
Yeah, watch Reign of Fire. Phenomenal movie. It's got Christian Bale, Matthew McConaughey, these miners, like in like modern time. I mean, it's like a 20-year-old movie, but modern time then. Yeah. All right, crown or a sword?
Sword.
All right. Would you prefer to have an ice palace or a giant dwarven forge of fire?
Ice Palace.
Destiny or free will?
Free will.
Can we expect a happy ending, or is this going to be emotionally devastating but meaningful?
Plead the fifth.
Okay. All right, and then Aaron's got one final one for you.
I've got two.
Okay.
Right.
Oh, he's got two. Okay.
Yeah. All right. So my first question is, if you could be any kind of bush, what kind of bush would you be?
Jesus.
I ask the tough questions.
I'm gonna go with burning bush.
Green bush. Okay.
That's a good one. That's
This
the
is where we
first. That's a
find out
good
who
one.
the
Yeah.
real.
Yeah.
We find out
I
who the
like that
real
one.
people, who you are.
I like that.
All right. And then
So he wants to be
next one
God.
is, so you're living in your house and you start noticing a cat every day, and there's a new cat, and you're getting more and more cats. How many cats until you realize somebody's intentionally putting cats in your house?
Honestly, I'm calling the shelter after 2. Yeah, so I'd probably notice pretty quickly. That's a good one though.
Aaron's got 2 cats he's trying to get rid of.
He's like, man, he
All right.
said 2.
How many?
Another guest can't do
So
it.
it means I can sneak 1 into Ken's house.
Interesting. Yeah, I probably wouldn't notice if it was just 1. It's fine. I'd probably think it was another ferret and throw it in with the ferrets.
Well,
That's all I got.
You're a weird ass ferret.
All
All
right.
right. All right. So, Ken, thank you so much for being here with us and hanging out and talking nerd and dealing with our particular form of idiocy.
Putting up with is probably the word. Right?
Yeah. Thank you so much for being here, man.
Yeah, thanks for the invite. I had a good time. It was always good to sit down and chat stuff we're all passionate about. Games, comics, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It's always a good time.
We'd love to have you back on. Anytime you want to come sit at the round table of nerddom and talk nerd, you let us know. We'll get you back on.
I think we need to have an episode about, AI. That was a topic that I think we clicked on a little bit there, and I'd love to swap soapboxes.
Yeah, we got we're at 140 right now. We're gonna save that. Tune back in.
I mean, a whole episode to it. A whole episode.
There was something else I
down the
wanted
road.
to touch on while we're about it, but yeah, absolutely. I want to do a whole episode, really do, and that's gonna stay tuned. 2026 is a wide year. We're just in February. This should come out around Valentine's Day, February 14th, sometime through there. Should come out around there. Usually, give or take a day or so, day or two.
Go ahead, Josh. Make more promises.
Well, Travis had the last episode ready, and I just didn't post it. We've been dealing with stuff.
You mind if I take a couple moments to plug a couple local businesses that have been super supportive of the upcoming release?
No, we don't do that here.
Yeah.
Okay,
No,
my
no,
bad.
absolutely
I'll see myself out.
No, but yeah, that's what I'm getting to. So we're ending.
Sure.
So can anything you want to plug, anything you want to talk about? So where can people find you? All that stuff. If local businesses you want to support and give a shout out to, please.
Sure. So local businesses, the gaming company, they're doing a signing with my books coming up to help celebrate the release of Frostfire, which is pretty cool, and that's going to be on a Saturday, March 28th. Nathan down there is always so supportive of local talent, local creatives. And I'm really looking forward to that. The store's a wonderful addition to our community. East Kentucky Cards, JR at that shop. We're doing a book signing there. We haven't drilled down a date specifically yet. We're looking at the 21st, but we're not sure yet. But he's going to have my book in stock down there. So you can stop by East Kentucky Cards to pick up a copy. As far as where you can find me, aside from the head of the holler, you can find me on Threads and Instagram. My handle's Ken_S_Harris. Threads is where I spend most of my time. If I happen to draw a funny picture, I'll throw it on Instagram or a book cover or something like that. But Threads is where I get to word vomit, and word vomiting is fun. So yeah.
All right, awesome,
Cool.
Fantastic. Aaron, where can the good people find you? Or Ken, is there anything else you want to? What's the name of the book? What's the name of the book again?
I forgot. No, I'm kidding. Queen of the Frostfire.
Hilda the Holler. Hilda the Holler coming out, hitting shelves near you in pop-up form. So, Queen of the Frostfire. When is it coming out?
It will be out February 27th.
Okay. So this episode should be hitting about February 14th. Somewhere through that. This episode will land before the book does. February 27th, you said?
Yes.
No. It's my son's birthday. I won't forget it. I know what I'm getting him for his birthday. I'm getting him your book. So you can read
Wonderful.
There you go.
All right.
Your other two books, what were their names for people?
The Perfect Tree, and Any Flavor Jelly Beans But Black.
And The Perfect Tree was an Amazon bestseller, right? You became an
Amazon bestseller.
Amazon bestselling
That's
author
my
from that.
claim to fame is enough people on Amazon gave my book a shot to where it reached #1 at some point in its genre.
Now, are you going to have that on the Queen of the Frostfire by Amazon bestselling author Ken Harris?
Possibly, I don't know. I don't really make those decisions. I
Oh,
just write
okay.
books.
See, that's also something I wanted to talk about when we got talking about stupid shit. I wanted to talk about the publishing process and all that. Maybe we'll do a little snippet thing after we're leading up to the actual release of the book. We'll talk about it. Try to have you back on to talk about it again. All right. Thank you so much again, Ken, for coming on, talking to us. Local author here, Ken Harris, Amazon best-selling author Ken Harris, author of the upcoming book Queen of the Frostfire. Check it out. It's coming out on February 27th. If you want to get in on the conversation with us, the nerds, you can get in on it. You can talk. Have you read any of Ken's books? We want to hear about it. You can talk. Come to our Discord. Come on our Facebook. Come inside our Discord. Email us at heelshavenerds@gmail.com. That is heelshavenerds@gmail.com. There is no the. Find us anywhere. You can search for the Heels Have Nerds on social media. We have a Ko-Fi. Check us out on Ko-Fi. If the best thing you can do for us, if you like our brand of nerdetry, is to tell a friend. Word of mouth is our strongest ally. If you're outside out in the world having these nerdy conversations about the stuff that we have nerdy conversations about, let somebody know, hey, I know these little hillbillies down there that talk about some nerdy stuff too, and they're pretty funny sometimes, but mostly an idiot. Tell them about it. Word of mouth's our strongest ally. Leave a like, leave a share, subscribe, give us a rating, whatever you're listening to us on. You can find us anywhere podcasts are served. We're on YouTube, all that good stuff. We have a Ko-Fi, as I mentioned. If you are so moved, you can come to our Ko-Fi and donate to the podcast. We want to give a shout out to our contributors, our kinfolk, Nick LaRosa and Brittany Johnston. Thank you guys so much for helping us make the podcast as good as it is. It would not be as good as it is without you. Just think of how much better it could be with more support. Thank you guys so much. That is it for us. Again, thank you so much, Ken. Thank you, Aaron. He's in focus now. You guys have a great night.
Right on time.
Yeah, everybody have a great night. If you're in our neck of the woods, stay warm out there. I think we got more snow coming. It is February 4th. As of right now, hopefully everybody's dug themselves out of our actual kingdom of Frostfire that we have that we're dealing with right now. But thank you so much. We are done. Take care, everybody. We'll see you later this month.
I guess I'm going to go learn to read. So.